everybody, byscreenside here today with a new speed build video. Today is a very special video because it is my first collaboration on the channel, or actually ever in fact. So I'm really excited about this. GraceDocsGames, who, if you haven't been to her channel, she's awesome. I'm going to be linking her in the description. We She was very kind to comment on one of my early building videos, and so we kind of chit-chatted over YouTube comments and decided to do a collaboration together. And so yeah, mine is obviously the first half. What we decided to do was just sort of split a lot down the center, and just each build half of the lot. So that's why you see those white lines. That's where I used the get to work fencing, just that flat fencing, just to sort of mark off what my half of the lot was. um, and I left that mess for her to clean up, by the way. So she was she was probably like, "What is this?" Well, that what is this mess? Why did she leave a mess for me to clean up? No, she wouldn't say that. But yeah, that's what that is, where I marked off what the half of the lot would be, which I learned in a video from the Sim Supply. I don't know if he has like a tutorial on that specifically, or if it was just something that was in one of his videos. I apologize for not remembering, but you basically just have to like lay down the fencing in a certain pattern to come up. It's really easy, and I'm not a mathish headed person, so it's a really cool trick, but I apologize. I'm not sure exactly where I learned it, but yeah, I guess that's a bit of a digression. So the idea behind these houses that we did were just for that it to be autumn themed. So we had like a very sort of, abstract um, sort of concept as to what we were doing. And so when I think of autumn, I think of hay rides and haunted houses and stuff like that. And because I grew up in a very rural part of the world, I was near a lot of like farmhouses and uh, that type of house in my environment a lot. Like, I didn't grow up in a farmhouse, but I had like family who lived on farms and stuff. So, like, I had my great aunt, she had like a really big plot of land with like horse. She had a horse. His name was Crackers, and FYI. So I definitely grew up around that, and so when a lot of my friends also lived in sort of like farmhouse type houses, like, sort of off in the middle of nowhere, definitely not a part of the city or anything like that. So that is what I was going for. I just wanted to recreate like that type of house. When I think about some of my memories looking back over like childhood and doing that kind of thing, celebrating Halloween and stuff during the fall. And fall is just absolutely my favorite time of year. And it's funny because it's sort of looked at as being that spring is sort of supposed to be like the renewal, or, like the start point of the year or the seasons in a way. Um, but to me, like, fall is what gives off that impression. Like, I know that's kind of weird because that's when, like, all the plants start to die and it starts to get cold out. But when I think of like the beginning of the year, because I think it's because of back to school always being in the autumn, like that to me was like my mom would take me out and go school shopping and get me new clothes, and like that always felt like the fresh start of a new school year or something was like the start of the year for me. So even to this day, that I haven't, been going to school for a long time, I still get that sort of, I don't know, like fresh new year feeling in the fall. So, like, that's a weird thing, but that's how fall feels to me. So, that's probably why it's my favorite season. That, and I just love the colors. And so, I do interpret fall colors, and that's why the color palette that I chose for this house was very orange, peach, brick. So, like, I think of fall colors as being deep reds and rich browns and golds and peaches and oranges. Um, and I think that, I mean, I was so impressed by the way, and if so, and I have to apologize because I might refer to her as Grace, and I know that's like from her Twitter, that's not her first name, so I don't know how like specifically she likes to be called, but like because of her YouTube channel name being GraceDocsGames, I think of her name as being Grace, so I apologize if I say that. Like that makes me feel weird. It's like I don't exactly know. But that's what happens in my head. So, and just a quick little digression here while I'm talking about autumn that I need to point out is there this was like completely on me. There were some packs that I used that she did not have in her game, and it's totally my fault because I even had the wherewithal to contact her ahead of time and ask what packs she used, and then I got in and started building and totally forgot to check myself and what I was using. So there are certain things that may not be like so I did my half and then she did her half and then I grabbed hers back off the gallery and I fixed a couple things before I like re-uploaded because I knew that she wouldn't have them in her game and it was like totally my fault. So I like put the doors back because I did that was just totally my bad, not her bad at all. Because she let me know and I messed up. So if there's a slight difference, like some of the things that I think it's pretty much just the door from the movie Hangout stuff pack and a chest of drawers from the movie Hangout stuff pack that I put in the upstairs hallway and um, pumpkins from the spooky stuff pack. Those are about like the only things that I think are slightly different just because in the difference in the packs that we both have. But everything else uh, went just fine. So it's not anything that was huge or any big deal, like nothing that like totally jeopardizes the build or anything like that, but or the style, whatever. So I didn't talk about because I was busy talking about the other thing, but in those trees, I'm super bummed that we still don't have like fall colored trees. I'm hoping that if there's ever a seasons down the line, that would definitely be something that would be a must for like a seasons type pack. But we just don't have any like fall colored trees, so I used some of the flowers from the base game and sized them up to put them in the tree to make it look like there was like it was maybe starting to turn. Um, but I did change it from orange to yellow because the texture on that particular flower, like when it was scaled up, it just looked really bad. Like the texture on it was really poor quality when it was sized up that much, so I replaced it with a yellow flower. But that's still very autumny to me. Actually, the house that I grew up in, I had a great there still is, my dad still lives in that house, but we had a great big tree out front that I used to climb, and every year it turns like a really bright sunny yellow. Every autumn it always turns yellow, and so it actually kind of reminds me of the tree in my front yard that I had growing up with the little yellow flowers in it, well, or the big yellow flowers in it sized up. And that's another thing that I just don't know, like because of the move objects, like when I downloaded it from the gallery with the other half of the build in it, it like those flowers had gone kerplunk down to the ground. So you may have to raise those up, and I don't think that has anything to do with having like it just happened every time I placed and replaced it, regardless of whether or not I had the move objects cheat on before I placed it. So, because I went in and I moved the stuff up, and then I wound up moving it to a different lot because I didn't have it in the right spot to resave it, and yeah, it happened again when I moved it, even though I had the move object sheet on. So that's not something that could have been avoided, unfortunately, I don't think. So yeah, I have to say I was just really, really impressed by the other half that you won't see in this video, that you have to go to the GraceDocsGames channel to watch the other half of this build, which is a second farmhouse that it I really got to hand it to her. Like, she picked up like the style, or it's like she just picked up my brainwave and continued it on like this. Like a really sort of like hippy dippy way to say it, but it, even though like we did not discuss, I didn't know what she was going to do. I didn't know if maybe she was going to like do something totally modern or something next to this. We just we're going to both do an interpretation of autumn, so I didn't know if she was going to sort of go with my style or go with a different style or what was going to happen. And it was when I saw what she did, which is like a beautiful autumn red colored house, which is awesome. I love her interiors anyway. They're the interiors are so cute and so awesome. I mean, it just, yeah, it felt like she just, like, I had a brainwave building and then I just passed it over to her and she's like, "Oh, okay, got it," and just took it off and ran with it. Like, it was awesome. Like, I can't say enough cool stuff about that build. I'm really happy. They just look so good together. They look like they belong in the same neighborhood, a neighborhood that I would totally want to live in. Yeah, I just absolutely love her little red house. And there's something that she did in there that I just did in a build the other day, but I haven't published it. And I was like, oh no, like I've done it in other builds before, and I don't, well, I don't, it's not like a huge like giveaway or anything. So in her kitchen, she had like done a lot of clutter items, which looks awesome. And on top of the fridge, like she moved some clutter items to the top of the fridge. And I have done this in other builds before, because there's this little like cereal box item from Outdoor Retreat that just, it looks to me like it should go on top of a fridge. And I just did it the other day on a build that I haven't posted on the channel yet. And then I saw that she did it in her build, and I was like, that's so awesome, because like I almost did it in this build and then I didn't wind up doing it, and then she wound up doing it on her side, and I was like, that's so cool and so awesome. Like, just when I talk about like the same wavelength, like the down to like details that I considered putting in, and then she like wound up doing on her side, and I was like, wow, that's, I think I'm like a little bit worried that she might be a little bit psychic now. So, you know, just, I don't, if you're like some sort of government agent or something like that, if you have state secrets or anything like that, then just watch yourself. Watch yourself. No, just kidding. I'm not throwing shade, or I'm just being stupid. So, anywho, weird thing that I did on this build too that I never do is I furnished the upstairs before I did the downstairs, and that's very unusual for me to do things in that order. But this is the kids' bedroom, and that I'm doing right now. Everything, even to the interior, is like autumn colors, reds and oranges, and so I carried that idea over into the kids' room, and put in the closet from Get Together, and I also have a woohoo bush out back. So got all that stuff. Um, so in my day-to-day, everyday life times, man, I'm like really eloquent today, and that's, yeah. So so what's going on in my, I'm so exhausted because I've been dealing with this issue where my bathroom ceiling. Okay, so the bathroom ceiling in my apartment, I've lived in this apartment for several years now, and it's leaked and caused the ceiling of the bathroom to like crack and bust open and stuff. And my landlord she used to have these people that were really not good, like maintenance people, and so many times they like slapdash fixed things in the apartment. Um, so like now I'm dealing with like dudes like stomping. Oh, my apartment is like so dirty from like dirty boots tromping in and out of my front door all day, and that drives me crazy. And we have to like put our cats in like the office or in the bedroom so that because like these guys who are fixing like the maintenance crew, they like walk in and out of the door and they don't shut the door well, and I'm worried that my cats are gonna get out. And they've been at my house for like 2 days, like straight. This makes me really happy that I rent and uh, that I don't have to worry about getting this stuff fixed. Like I can just call somebody, but still, oh, it's been really really tiresome. And so right now my bathroom doesn't even have a ceiling on it. It's just like open to the studs and like it even has the potential to be like open to the apartment upstairs. Like there's a panel in the wall in the apartment upstairs, and like you could, I mean, like if they move that panel, they could like see down into my bathroom. It's like creepy. Um, on this a note on these sinks here, they don't work. I'm sorry. I don't do that very often, but I really wanted like a farmhouse style sink. We really don't have anything like that in the game right now. And so I did that for looks, but they don't work. But your Sims can go wash their hands in the kitchen. Sorry. Sorry. I know I've gotten in trouble for bad sink decisions in the past. But you know, the Sims still have a sink. It's okay. It's and you can take those out and replace them if you hate them. But I wanted a farmhouse. I want an apron sink for goodness sakes. Can a girl have an apron sink if she wants one? Okay, so this is what I'm doing out back here is like a little barn. It's not functional. It's just like a little decor piece for the backyard. And the reason I mean, it doesn't, it, it's on a diagonal, which you can't put stairs up to a diagonal, which is kind of a bummer. That's something that I'd really like to see later on in the game. Like, that's kind of I don't know, I don't want to say unfair, just sort of like just seems like something that's sort of like an oversight in terms of build mode that we can't put stairs up to a diagonal like that. But I only just wanted this to be there for like just to have like a little barn look about, like a shed. Again, when I think of like farmhouses and stuff that I went to as a kid, there would always be like a barn or a shed or some area, open. And so you'll see that I was trying to see if I could get stairs. I remember thinking like I can't put stairs up to this, can I? I'll try anyway. No, I can't. Okay. So, but yeah, you'll see that I sort of just like build up around it so I make it look more like it's just something that's overgrown, and like maybe like the family just never uses that shed anymore. They just never go in there, but you can see into it, and so you can just sort of, it's just there for looks. It's just there to kind of sell the farmhouse vibe of the build. So, yeah, that's what that's about. And I just sort of like, I jumped in and out of, you know, the landscaping and the interior a lot more than I usually do. Usually I sort of, well, actually, sort of my process is usually like front yard, interior, bottom floor, top floor, and then backyard, it seems like. But I just sort of jumped around all in this. I used those little fences from Perfect Patio, I believe it was, to make sort of like a open barn door look. And then there's like a woohoo bush around back outside the barn, so your Sims can go have a little good times out by the barn, right? Good times. Okay. So yeah, um, that's what I've been doing. I've been uh, dealing with my bathroom ceiling, and I've been watching a lot of Supernatural. I just sort of started watching that show. Um, it's like if you don't watch it, it's a, I mean, I'm assuming there's probably some people who are seeing this that do watch it because it's a pretty popular show, but I just never got around to checking it out until recently, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's like every episode is like an okay horror movie. Like like it's not like a B horror movie, like a really bad horror movie. It's like an okay horror movie every time, like The Conjuring or something. Like every single episode. So that's been taking up most of my time. Bathroom ceiling, Supernatural, good times about brothers who hunt demons and things. So I use those vent hoods from the base game as curtains because I'm so tired of our curtain options or lack thereof, and I just thought this would actually make really cute curtains as well. And I have to say, I really love the way that this kitchen turned out. I know it's like very country kitchen looking, but that's exactly what I wanted for this build, and I don't know. I just thought it turned out really cool. Like I would totally this could be my kitchen. I would have this kitchen in real life, no problem. I would also live in the other house on the lot too. Like both houses are totally cool and awesome, and I want to live, and I'll just own the lot. I'll own both houses and it'll work out like that. So, and I've been into this whole like eating kitchen, breakfast nook thing. So I used the booth. I was first trying to make something work here with using move objects to kind of make it look like the table was sort of coming out or like a fold down table, but it wasn't. Nothing that I was trying was looking like I wanted it to. So you'll see here in a second. I use the stuff from the dine out pack, the bench booth, whatever from the dine out pack, and then I make a little eating kitchen with the little booth, and I really love it. It's like almost every build that I do, like there seems to be like one room that is my favorite, and this kitchen, I absolutely love this kitchen. I even wound up doing another really similar kitchen in another build that I have coming out soon. So I have a few builds that I've already got done and we just need to get together and put them up. And I don't know why I just thought I wanted to put that fish, that piranha or anglerfish as part of that mirror. I hope that made it to the gallery too. And I'm going to link to this in the description as well as the GraceDocsGames channel. I absolutely insist that you watch her half of the build as well because I haven't seen like the video yet, so I can't wait to see her build process of doing it. I've seen the build itself, of course, and again, I love it. It's perfect. It's just so cool. And the living room was the only room that I sort of made a little bit of an exception on the color scheme. I mean, it's sort of just like a white and a little bit of a like a turquoisey, not like a super in your face turquoisey kind of color, but it is a little bit off books in terms of the rest of the colors, but I did want one room to have more of a brightness to it because even though like I do love autumn colors, sometimes like too much I think can be a little bit overwhelming. Like they're so rich and often like a little bit on the dark side, not like as in use the force, don't go over to the dark side, just a little bit darker colored, and sometimes those colors can get a little bit oppressive every now and then. So in the whole first floor is done in like a lot more bright colors like than the upstairs floor and the exterior so much. But I mean, I still think it works well with like the farmhouse look and so yeah, that's the final rug that I use, and I use a color that's a little bit on the turquoisey side of things. And I had to like make little cuts here and there out of the video because this build actually took me 3 hours, and that's a lot longer than I normally spend. By the way, this bookshelf is purposely mismatched from the cabinets. Again, like it's a little bit, uh, part of like the farmhouse charm, in my opinion. But yeah, this build really took me a long time um, to do. I was taking my time, and then I did a lot of detailing in the landscaping, and mainly the landscaping is what took the majority of the time. So a lot of that I cut out little bits and pieces here or there because, once you've seen me place one rock, like, you know, like after a few rocks, you get the idea. You know what I mean? Like, like I want you to know how I did it, but some of that stuff gets like placing rocks and things like that. They get a little bit of repetition going on, and then that's just more you have to listen to me ramble about stuff. So, little bit of cuts here and there. Um, I like the way that the backyard turned out as well with the barn, yes, but also like the way I did the garden in the but in the back and in the front. It's a busier sort of landscaping style than what I normally do, and I think I didn't actively like plan this or anything, but the idea behind it I think is that I do see like fall being a time where your yard is like a little bit busier and messier just because like people have like piles of leaves raked up or just sort of everywhere, and Halloween, like often, like like a lot of Halloween decorations or um, pumpkins, things like that. So there just seems to be like a lot going on in people's yards or gardens, as you might call them. Uh, like I think garden sounds so much nicer in the U.S. We're just like out in your yard, out in the backyard. So, but yeah, I added in a lot of um, like lots of rocks and flowers and just sort of clutter items. I just like the idea that they're celebrating fall. They've got a lot going on that they're doing outside, and there's garden pots for gardening and all kinds of stuff. And I went in to play test this house, and I wound up playing like not like a whole storyline, but I wound up playing for like a few hours because the it sort of like inspired a little storyline for me, and I just started playing, and I just did I don't know. I love it when like a certain build or a certain sim will inspire like a whole little storyline that you want to do. And so as I was playtesting this house, so I have simmed in this house. Not every channel, or not every build on the channel are all houses that I've played games in, but this is actually one that I was like, you know what, I want to play a little game here. I got kind of an idea, I want to go with it. So I did play for a while in this house, and it actually, so the little storyline came up with might be something that I'm just gonna keep it in my pocket there in case ever I want to do a let's play with this idea that I got, but it gave me an idea for future things. So it's cool the way something that you can do like a build in The Sims can inspire, not expire, a storyline in in the for live play and everything. Anyway, blah 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 blah. So, first I put like a little pathway going over into, the other side of the lot, but then I did take it back out. Like, no, that's too much like pressure on her to be able, like, not just to figure out what to do as a build working from off something somebody else did that you didn't pre-discuss, but also just like, and make this path work. It's not like a challenge. I didn't want to, didn't want to do that. Um, but yeah, even so, even if I had done that, she probably would have just nailed it because she did such a good job on her half of the lot. I'm just like, I'm really psyched about it. I just love the way that the two I've said it like 14 times already, but I love the way that the two houses work together. So if you want to play like a game where you have like neighbor sims or whatever on the same lot, or maybe like a family that like lives close together, like maybe like a daughter lived in her son moved in next door to his parents or something. I don't know. Did another one of those flower tree things out back as well. But yeah, like maybe like it's all one family, but they live in two separate houses, sort of. Those red stones I threw in here and there just to add in more of that fall color, and that's basically like the color of the house that she did. So again, it just perfectly complemented the house that I had already put down that she didn't even know what I was going to do. So again, it's so awesome. Make sure that you watch that build as well. So yeah, I really had to pare this one down. It took me a long time, but all in all, in the end, I think it was so worth it, and especially now that I've gotten to see like the completed lot, very very worth it. Her side, she's got a little bit of like a really nice little pool area, and her backyard is a little bit fenced off and separate. I'm trying to think of what else. I really loved the kitchen in her build, and um, the master bedroom in her build is really cool too. So yeah, I think from above that yard looks really awesome. Like I've got to do my landscaping from up above, or my landscape painting from up above more often. Like that bird's eye view really helps, and I think all the colors and just all the stuff in the yard really came together very well. Um, If you haven't seen any of my other recent build videos, I should also say that I do have I have at least two build videos coming up here very soon, and one of them is going to be put out in conjunction with a new Let's Play that I'm starting for the month of October, and I'm going to start it sometime in the last week of September. So look for that to be out in the future, and just something to do while we're waiting on City Living, which I saw the trailer, of course, for the City Living apartments with the sort of different traits and stuff. That's intriguing. I'm not like entirely sure like what I think about that yet. Like about apartments having traits in themselves, but I'm intrigued. I'm interested to see how that helps. I mean, maybe it'll be really cool, like a romantic or apartment or a party apartment, or that I don't know, good schools were some of the examples. Not too thrilled about watching my Sims live with like bugs and rats. Like, yeek. I don't know if I want to subject my Sims to that. That's not cool. I also put down some plants if you want to plant them. I picked things that I thought were sort of fall-ish in terms of the gardening catalog. So those are in there if you want to use them. Just throwing in a few more pumpkins just to bring up the fall theme. And here is the completed lot. Ta-da! That is the living room area, and then the living room looking back into the kitchen. We got the kitchen, which is still my favorite part. Love it. Kids' bedroom. Then we've got the master bedroom with the massage chair, the bathroom with the fish mirror, and another exterior shot coming up. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to watch the part 2 on GraceDocsGames, and take care. Bye!